Imagine this. You're cruising at 35,000 feet, the world below a distant memory, and everything feels routine. Maybe you're reading a book, chatting with a friend, or simply gazing out the window at the endless blue. The hum of the engines is almost soothing, a white noise that lulls you into a sense of safety. Suddenly, you're 7 miles high, and the air outside is so thin and cold it burns your lungs. The wind is a living force, howling past you at hundreds of miles per hour, numbing your skin and stealing your breath. One moment you're in a passenger jet, sipping coffee, maybe thinking about your destination or the day ahead. The next, a deafening explosion tears the fuselage apart, metal screams, oxygen masks drop, and chaos erupts as the cabin is ripped open to the sky. You're sucked out into the void, tumbling head over heels, no parachute, no warning, just a dizzying, endless drop toward the earth. The ground is a distant patchwork of greens and browns, so far away it almost doesn't seem real. But with every passing second it's rushing closer, transforming from a tranquil landscape to a deadly target. Your mind reels, struggling to process the chaos. The roar of the wind is overwhelming, drowning out every other thought, every other sound. You're spinning wildly, limbs flailing, completely at the mercy of the elements. It's like being tossed around by a hurricane, your body a rag doll in the sky. Instinctively you reach out, desperate to grab onto something, anything, but there's nothing but empty air. Panic claws at your mind, but then a survival instinct kicks in. You realize you need control. If you can stop the spin, you might have a chance. You force yourself to spread your arms and legs wide like a skydiver, fighting the wind to stabilize your fall. It's not easy, but slowly, the tumbling slows. In this spread eagle position, your body acts like a parachute, increasing air resistance and slowing your descent just enough to give you precious seconds to think. Now, it's about turning panic into action. Every second counts, and your mind sharpens, focusing on survival. The world below comes into focus. Forests, fields, rivers, towns. Each one represents a different chance, a different risk. You have about 3 minutes, 180 seconds to make decisions that will determine whether you live or die. It's a race against time, and the clock is ticking fast. You scan the landscape, searching for the least deadly landing spot. Water, trees, rooftops, open fields, each has its own dangers, but some offer a sliver of hope. The initial terror begins to fade, replaced by a strange clarity. Your senses heighten, your thoughts sharpen. You're focused on survival, on doing whatever it takes to beat the odds. This is your reality now, a lone figure plummeting through the vast sky, with nothing but your wits and willpower to save you. The long drop has begun. Every move you make, every decision could mean the difference between life and death. Your survival depends on your actions, your courage, and your ability to stay calm under unimaginable pressure. This is the ultimate test of human will against nature's raw, unforgiving power, and as you fall, you discover what you're truly made of. Falling from a great height doesn't mean endless acceleration. Gravity pulls you down, but air resistance pushes back. These forces balance and you reach terminal velocity. For a human in a spread eagle position, it's about 120 miles per hour. Hitting a hard surface at this speed is almost always fatal. The human body can't withstand such sudden deceleration. Bones shatter, organs rupture, the brain suffers trauma. Your body's orientation affects your speed. Falling head first or feet first increases terminal velocity. To slow down, maximize surface area by spreading arms and legs. Terminal velocity ensures a massive impact regardless of height. The landing surface is the only variable that can change this deadly equation. In 1972, a bomb exploded on Jet Flight 367 over Czechoslovakia. Vesna Vulović, a flight attendant, survived a fall from 33,333 feet. Her survival was a miracle, a 1 in a billion chance. She was pinned inside a section of the fuselage, protected from the blast. The wreckage created drag, slowing her descent. She landed on a snow-covered mountainside, the snow absorbing the impact. The slope's angle allowed the wreckage to skid, dissipating force. Vesna was severely injured but recovered, with no memory of the fall. Her story is a testament to human resilience and sheer luck. It shows survival is sometimes possible, even in hopeless situations. Vesna's story isn't unique. During World War II, airmen survived fatal falls. Nicholas Alkemade jumped from a burning plane at 18,000 feet. His fall was broken by pine branches and snow, leaving him with minor injuries. Magee fell from 22,000 feet, crashing through a glass roof. The roof absorbed the impact and he survived with severe injuries. These stories share a theme: multi-stage landings that slowed them down. They turned certain death impacts into survivable ones. Survival was a fluke, a combination of unlikely events. When we look at the most astonishing survival stories from falls at extreme heights, one detail stands out above all others: the landing surface. It's the single most important factor that determines whether a fall is fatal or survivable. The nature of what's below can mean the difference between life and death. No one, no matter how lucky, survives a 120 miles per hour fall onto a hard, unyielding surface like concrete or tarmac. The forces involved are simply too great for the human body to withstand. But when survivors do make it, it's almost always because they landed on something that absorbed and spread out the impact. Something that cushioned their fall and slowed them down over a longer distance. Deep, soft snow is one of the best possible surfaces for this. It acts like a natural airbag, compressing and giving way under the force of a falling body, reducing the shock that reaches the bones and organs. Both Vesna Vulović and Alkemade, two of the most famous high-altitude fall survivors, were saved by landing in deep snow. The snow's thickness and softness absorbed much of the energy from their falls. In some cases, a steep, snowy slope can also help. Instead of stopping instantly, the person slides down the slope, spreading the deceleration over a longer distance and further reducing the force of impact. Forests, especially those with dense, flexible trees, can act as a multi-layered braking system. Branches and leaves break the fall in stages, each one slowing the descent a little more. Alkemade's fall was slowed first by pine branches which snapped and bent under his weight before he finally landed in the snow below. Each layer helped to absorb energy and slow him down. Other survivors have been saved by landing in swamps, thick vegetation, or even the wreckage of the plane itself. Anything that can deform, compress, or break apart on impact can help cushion a fall. The key to survival is deceleration over time and distance. The longer it takes to come to a stop, the less force is transferred to the body. In the end, these survivors were the beneficiaries of a rare and fortunate fluke of physics, where the environment, by pure chance, provided just the right conditions to save a life. Sometimes, survival comes down to being in the right place at the right time, with the perfect landing spot waiting below, a reminder of how unpredictable and miraculous these stories truly are. What if someone jumps without a parachute on purpose? In 2016, Luke Aikins did just that. He jumped from 25,000 feet, aiming for a massive net below. This wasn't survival, it was a planned stunt called Heaven Sent. The net, made from spectra, absorbed his impact perfectly. Aikins spent 2 years preparing, using technology and teamwork. He controlled every variable: altitude, equipment, landing zone. The difference between Aikins and accidental survivors is planning versus luck. Aikins' jump was a feat of engineering and skill. Without a safety net, jumping from a plane is a death sentence. It highlights the importance of preparation and control. Hollywood loves freefall scenes, but they're fantasy. Falling without a parachute is grim, with survival chances infinitesimally small. Millions perish for every miraculous survivor. Water isn't a soft landing, it's like hitting concrete. Entering water perfectly is near impossible while tumbling. Grabbing another person with a parachute is unlikely. A standard parachute can't carry 2 people safely. Vesna, Alan, and Nicholas are anomalies, not survival blueprints. They survived due to a perfect storm of unlikely events. The brutal truth: falling from a plane without a parachute is almost certain death. Physics aren't easily cheated, and gravity always wins. Hollywood heroes walk away, real people don't. After hearing these incredible stories of survival, you might find yourself wondering, could you actually survive a fall from an airplane? It's a question that sparks the imagination and maybe even a bit of hope. We all like to believe we'd be the exception, the one who beats the odds and walks away with an unbelievable story to tell. But the reality is, most people would be instantly overwhelmed by sheer terror and confusion. The shock of the fall, the rush of wind, and the sudden realization of what's happening would leave even the bravest among us disoriented and panicked. It's not just about physical survival, it's a mental battle too. Statistically, the odds are stacked heavily against you. Surviving a fall from such heights is almost like winning the lottery. Possible, but incredibly rare. Every factor from altitude to weather plays a role in your chances. To even have a chance, you'd need to land in the perfect terrain. Think deep, soft snow, a thick forest canopy, or a swampy marsh. These rare conditions can cushion your fall, but they're not always there when you need them. And it's not just about where you land, but how. You'd need to hit the right spot at the right angle with your body positioned to absorb the impact as safely as possible. Even trained skydivers practice this for years. Even if you manage to survive the initial impact, your survival still depends on avoiding fatal injuries and being found quickly. Hypothermia, shock, and isolation are real threats. Rescue teams may take hours or even days to reach you, especially in remote areas. In the end, surviving a fall like this comes down to a lot of luck, more than most of us would ever want to bet on. The real takeaway here isn't a step-by-step survival guide, but a reminder of just how unpredictable life can be. Sometimes things happen that defy all logic and probability. These stories are a celebration of human resilience, courage, and the will to survive against all odds, but they're also a dose of reality, a reminder that not everything is within our control. The best way to survive a crash is still to follow safety instructions, pay attention to the crew, and be prepared for emergencies before they happen. And if you ever want to experience free fall, do it the safe way, with a parachute, an experienced instructor, and plenty of training. So, the real question isn't just, could you survive? But, would you really want to try your luck? Sometimes the best survival skill is knowing when not to take the risk.